device consists of articulation buttons to articulate the front end, a rotation knob to rotate the shaft, a handle with the trigger to clamp the jaws. Following activation of the mode selector button, the trigger deploys the device. The return slide is used to withdraw the knife and unclamp the jaws. The jaws are connected to the handle via the shaft. The jaws consist of the anvil and the channel. Cartridges are loaded into the channel. The trigger serves two functions. Initially, activation of the trigger closes and locks the jaws. After the mode selector button has been activated, the trigger deploys the staples and cuts the tissue. 2 full strokes of the trigger are required to complete a deployment. Following a deployment, the return slide retracts the knife and allows the jaws to release and open. Cartridges, both with white and blue staples. Each cartridge is enclosed by a retainer that protects the cartridges and serves as a loading aid. The cartridges also come with an unloader. In order to load the standard cartridge, slide the open end of the retainer onto the channel and insert it all the way until a click is heard. At this point, the cartridge is seated and the retainer can be removed. Inspect the cartridge is firmly seated in the channel. Clamp the jaws by activating the trigger. If the jaws can be clamped and locked, the loading is complete and successful. Curved tip cartridges come with different retainers. Insert the new cartridge by sliding it in between the jaws. After removing the cartridge retainer, observe the surface on the new cartridge. The cartridge must be replaced with the new cartridge if there is any portion of any of the staples above the surface. Rotation and articulation. The shaft can be rotated 360 degrees in either direction. To rotate the device, turn the rotation knob. The jaws can be articulated up to 80 degrees in either direction. To articulate the stapler, push the articulation buttons on the back of the rotation knob. To reverse articulation in 20-degree increments, push the opposite articulation button. Trocar insertion and extraction. To insert the jaws into the trocar, pull the trigger halfway to approximate the jaws. Once the tip of the jaws are inside the trocar, release the trigger to maintain a minimum diameter of the end effector. The jaws will automatically open as they exit the trocar. To extract the end effector through the trocar, again pull the trigger halfway to allow the jaws to enter the trocar, and once inside, release the trigger. Firing and resetting. The jaws are atraumatic and can be repositioned on tissue as necessary or used as a grasper. Squeeze the trigger to clamp and lock the jaws. The MicroCutter can accommodate varying tissue thicknesses, with thicker tissue waiting at least 10 seconds after clamping may allow the tissue to settle and the jaws to lock. If the tissue thickness is outside the capable range, the jaws will not lock, thereby preventing deployment. Inserting the tissue beyond the tissue stop may also prevent the jaws from locking. Press the orange mode selector button to switch to deployment mode. Squeeze the trigger twice to complete a full deployment. In order to unclamp and disengage from the tissue, pull the reset slide all the way back. Gently remove the staple from the tissue. Reloading. Every standard cartridge comes with an orange cartridge unloader. The unloader aids in removing a spent cartridge from the channel. Use the unloader by sliding it onto the channel until the cartridge is disengaged from the channel with an audible click. Then withdraw the unloader. Thirdly, rinse the stapler before reloading with a new cartridge. Curved cartridges can be removed by dislodging the tip of the cartridge from the channel using a finger pushing from underneath. Alternatively, the retainer can be aligned underneath the channel, and with a vertical movement, the cartridge is separated from the channel.